So today it's time to feed my worms. So the things I need, um, shredded brown paper, powdered egg shells, coffee grounds from my coffee maker, and about 1 kilogram. This is actually 1.2 kilograms of kitchen scrap without the onions and acidic citrus fruits. So first is to take out. So I the way I was taught is to half the bin. You feed this on this side for about 10 days. This is actually the 13th day. And then I fed from on that side the previous cycle. So I have to take these out. So if you are kind of sensitive, or you're not comfortable touching with your bare hands, and you can use your garden gloves or your rubber gloves. So anyway, so you will see there is a worm. So of course I suggest, if you're gonna do this with your bare hands, then you should cut your nails so that the compost won't get into underneath your fingernails. So there, if you can see worms. Actually, the previous time, many of my worms died because I neglected the wetness. My bedding, this is sawdust, and my bedding dried up, and dry bedding is um, what do you call this? Bad for your worms. They want wet bedding, but surprisingly, they have actually multiplied more than double already. So that's a good indication that I did something right again. So half, you don't have to be very strict about half. So some of the worms probably are eating on that side, and some of the worms who are feeling full stay on this side to chill and maybe to even reproduce. So I have two bins, and this is the first bin that I'm going to put their food. So in the beginning, I thought that the worms are sensitive, but they are not. So you don't have to be really careful about handling them. They are elastic. So anyways, the worms seem to be smart in a sense that they don't consume everything that I feed them, and the materials that are left uneaten, see. So this is a combination of like a dried leaves and a mango seed, and there they become the breeding places. So anyway, so I will transfer the unconsumed food on the other side, and yeah, it doesn't matter if they end up on top, because they will find their way to the bottom of this other side. So there you see. Wow, I didn't see this much worms last time I fed them. I was kind of worried. So thank God my My worms have been saved. See? It's so easy to, I don't know if it's so easy, but I feel that it's, as long as they like the environment, they will just keep on reproducing. So these are unconsumed, and I don't think they will try to eat them because they become breeding places. So I try to finish. Wow, look at that. Plenty of worms. See, it's a good sight. Good sight. Good news. Good news. So I started off with one bin, and this is actually my second bin, the blue one. And the first bin, I bought a full set, a starter kit with the bin, with the worms, and with the bedding, etc., the eggshells, etc. So anyways, so there, so done, almost ready, but I think I can actually get more. Okay, so first I will return, there has to be bedding about 1 inch or no, half an inch of layer of sawdust there. Never mind the worms. Some of them try to play dead. Alright, so there. The next step is to put the shredded paper. So this much is good for 2 bins. And there's no such thing as over supply of brown paper. The worst thing that can happen is they won't be able to eat all of them, and it's good because then the uneaten substrate will become breeding places, and it's a good thing. So a balance of food stuff and breeding places. You can also use cardboard, but you have to shred it because the worms will find it hard to decompose if the bits are bigger in size. So there, about 1 inch of thick of shredded paper. So this coffee grounds goes next. So you just sprinkle on top, and the coffee grounds is food for the worms at the same time because they don't have teeth, right? So they use this to grind the food so that they can reduce them to tiny pieces that they can actually consume. In the beginning I would really measure how much coffee ground, but since I have more than enough, so I'm just by feel. And then after this is your food. So I got this from the local. This is half my consumption, and half from the local fruit vendor. So I buy my veggies from there, my fruits from there, and then so these are mostly banana peelings and mango peelings there. So actually the mango seed, they will not consume it, but the surface part they will try to, until there's no more fiber there. Sorry about that. So these are banana and saba and eggplant. So these are frozen so that they won't smell. This is avocado peeling. So if they are frozen, then they won't rot so easily, and it doesn't smell. So you try to even out the surface, and then the next one is your powdered eggshells. Ugh. So this also, they consume them at the same time. The eggshells also function as grit. I grind these using the blender, or actually I don't have a blender, but I have a coffee bean grinder, so I use that. I just make sure to wash. So there. The worms will love it if you have a lot of grit there, so they can actually easily consume the food. Then the last step is to cover the food with the bedding you removed. So one purpose is, of course, so that the rotting food will not smell. You don't smell it. It smells like earth. Oops, sorry about that. So there, sometimes you will find baby worms, but I guess the baby worms have grown a little bigger, so you don't find them here. So that's it. That concludes the feeding of the worms, and I just have to even it out. So before they consume, before they will be able to consume or to eat on this part, it will take about 3 days to start the decaying process of the food. So this part will heat up before they become consumable for the worms. So you see there are worms here, and when the food underneath heats up, they will move to that side until it's time for them to binge. Right? And then what helps keep the moisture in is this one. So this is brown paper, and also the worms like the darkness, or yeah. So that this helps reduce evaporation. And then to cover, but in the Philippines, the holes that I have here isn't enough, so I have been unable to close this in full, because if I do that, it becomes so warm inside that when I take out the cover, the worms end up all of them here. So that's an indication that it's really warm inside. But so what I do is just to close it, and then one finger size, so that if there are mice around, then they won't get in. And then I use this slab of concrete and cement in a little piece of concrete hollow blocks, and that's it. It's done. Thank you for your time. Until the next time.